What's up, guys? It's Benny. You probably heard that America doesn't negotiate with terrorists, but what about traitors to our country? Who's the worst traitor to our country in history? You'd say maybe Benedict Arnold, right? I mean, that's even a saying. Like, don't be a Benedict Arnold. People say that as a pejorative, but they really should say don't be a Jonathan Pollard instead of a Benedict Arnold, because this guy was way worse. This is the worst traitor to America in the history of traitors to America, and there have been many of them. Jonathan Pollard is an American former intelligence analyst who was jailed for spying for Israel. In 1984, Pollard sold numerous state secrets, including National Security Agency's 10-volume manual on how the U.S. gathers its signals intelligence, and disclosed the names of thousands of people who had cooperated with U.S. intelligence agencies. By the way, this alone gets thousands of people killed, right? For sure. He was apprehended in 1985 and in subsequent proceedings agreed to a plea deal, pleaded guilty for spying to and providing top secret classified information to Israel. Pollard admitted shopping his services successfully to other countries in 1987. He was sentenced to life in prison for violations of the Espionage Act. The Israeli government acknowledged a portion of its role in Pollard's espionage in 1987, issued a formal apology to the U.S., but did not admit paying him until 1998. Over the course of his imprisonment, Israeli officials in the U.S., Israeli activist groups, and some American politicians continually lobbied for reduced sentence. In defense of his actions, Pollard said American intelligence establishment collectively endangered Israel's security by withholding critical information. Goodness gracious. Opposing any form of clemency for Pollard were many active retired U.S. officials, including Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. Well, this would be the first time I find myself 100% on the side of Dick Cheney here, though Pollard argued that he had supplied Israel with information critical to its security. No way of knowing Israel received any legitimate exchanges, blah, blah, blah. Pollard was released from prison in 2015 in accordance with federal guidelines at the time for his sentencing. I thought he got life in prison. What? I mean, you should have gotten the death penalty for this. But anyway, this guy is a dirty and evil scumbag traitor to our nation, probably got thousands of people killed, and destroyed our capacity to function as a secure nation, and obviously did so on behalf of another nation, on behalf of a foreign nation. So he's a traitor, and he shouldn't be treated any differently than if you had done this for ISIS, okay? But nonetheless, you won't believe it, but Mike Huckabee, who's the ambassador to Israel, met with Jonathan Pollard. And this is a story that blew up this weekend. And everyone in their right mind is demanding that Mike Huckabee be recalled and then fired. And I don't know. I don't know if he broke any laws by doing this, but I agree with those calls, obviously. MAGA freaks out that Trump ambassador met with spy who sold out U.S. Yeah, of course, obviously. Does America first mean anything to anyone? This is a perfect cut and dry example. Ambassador Mike Huckabee met with Jonathan Pollard without the White House's prior knowledge. So you meet with the worst spy in American history, certainly in modern American history. Trump administration, MAGA is not happy about it. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, held a private meeting with Jonathan Pollard, an Israeli spy who spent 30 years in prison selling U.S. secrets to Israel during the Cold War. The news caught the rest of the administration off guard, including the CIA and the president, according to the U.S. officials. The friendly, off-the-books encounter took place at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. It's not like you ran into him at a coffee shop. You actually went to the embassy. You got invited to the embassy. And so to get into the U.S. Embassy, you have to be on the books, right? You need to go through security. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters Thursday the White House was not informed of the meeting beforehand, but the president stands by our ambassador. He shouldn't. I mean, he shouldn't. Days before this broke, Ted Cruz saying Mike Huckabee is a pastor and a patriot who loves Israel and loves Jesus. Does he love America though? Okay, you're allowed to love who you love. But if you love Israel that much, then just go move permanently to Israel. If you're going to put Israeli intelligence and Israeli security ahead of American security, then you need to just move there. Burn your passport and go there. Go to the country that you love the very most. If that's Ukraine, then get the hell out of my neighborhood. There are like Ukraine flags still hanging around in my neighborhood. Get the hell out of my neighborhood. It's been 11 hours since it was revealed that Trump's ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, met with the man who betrayed America. Trump still hasn't fired Huckabee yet. Why is that? The traitor, Jonathan Pollard, handed over so many classified documents to Israel, it could fill a space 6 feet by 6 feet by 10 feet. When Pollard was released from jail, he moved to Israel, where Netanyahu gave him a hero's welcome. You're home, Netanyahu said, before handing him an Israeli ID card. To make matters worse, Pollard flew to Israel on Sheldon and Miriam Adelson's jet. This is shocking behavior from a U.S. ambassador. Is Huckabee going to explain it, says Tucker Carlson? Just a nightmare. Just a nightmare. Immediately recall Ambassador Huckabee. He is out of control, says Steve Bannon. True. I mean, I don't know how else to. I mean, there's no defending this. There's no defending it. There's no defending it. You can't do this. You're either America first or you're not. This is the definitional opposite of being America first. Mike Huckabee secretly met with a convicted spy. Not one person who called Tucker to be canceled has expressed any concern at all. Huckabee, unlike Tucker, is a public officer who owes a duty and loyalty to the American people. Where is the outrage? Jonathan Pollard was an Israeli spy who gave massive troves of U.S. intel secrets to Tel Aviv, where he celebrates Israel blackmailing the U.S. with nuclear weapons. Pollard now says he met secretly with Ambassador Mike Huckabee. Huckabee should be fired for this. I totally agree. Huckabee needs to be recalled immediately. Tucker Carlson, like Ben Shapiro, owes us nothing. Shapiro regularly platforms psychotic Marxists like Sam Harris. Who cares? Mike Huckabee, on the other hand, has taken an oath to the Constitution. He secretly met with a spy, yet no one in conservative media seems to care. I care. Steve Bannon cares. In what world is Huckabee not fired for this? Yeah, he needs to be fired. There's no universe where it's appropriate for Mike Huckabee, who's supposed to be our ambassador to serve our country's interests, to meet with Jonathan Pollard, who to this day encourages spying on the United States of America and was by definition spying when he went to go meet with Ambassador Huckabee. By any objective metric, this meeting is far greater scandal than Tucker Carlson's editorial choices on his podcast. Ambassador Mike Huckabee is a government official and should be held, but Tucker's front-ticators don't seem to be interested at all. Yes, because they are Israel first. There are plenty of people who are Israel first and are not America first. That's just a matter of fact. And I encourage them to move to Israel. Move to the country that you love the very most. It's a little more complicated than that, obviously. They need America. You need America for survival. So you have to have like a very loud and vocal contingent here. Ukraine needs America for survival. Same with Taiwan. Same with all these places. And our politics are so unduly influenced by foreign politics. I'm sick of it. Was Huckabee in control when he sent the letter to Trump basically telling him God wanted him to kill people and topple the regime in Iran? Seems crazy to me. That's right. Mike Huckabee lobbied for Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard to be freed. Trump and the Senate GOP chose him as their point person to represent America First brand in Israel. Not good, man. Not good. Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard is now was bragging, and then he says that it was a CIA plot to frame him. The man controlling the calendar invites for Huckabee in this embassy is the stepson of Mark Levin. Perfect. Pollard blames the CIA for revealing the meeting, calling it a hit on Huckabee. Yikes. You should not be allowed to warmly receive anti-American spy at the U.S. Embassy. No. I'm totally in favor of his firing. It has to happen. Here's what Bannon has to say about it, ladies and gentlemen. But count me in. Count me out as one of them. You can't do this. Sorry. There are lines. It's your boy Benny. Here's Steve Bannon.
And Huckabee, the clown ambassador, who's an embarrassment, a total embarrassment. What he's saying with this insanity. He ought to be recalled immediately and removed immediately. And my buddy Joe Pollock, I know people go crazy. I think Joe Pollock ought to be the ambassador. Because Joe Pollock's a decent and good man. And when he knows all the facts, he's not going to be like Huckabee. That'll be a little controversial. I got that. I put David Friedman back in there. At least they're going to deal with you straight and not misinterpret. Not misinterpret. This misinterpretation is bald-faced lies. These are bald-faced lies.